Hello, everyone. My name is Guido. Let's start the webinar. And today's topic is conditional messages and resource planning. And thank you everyone for joining. I'm Guido. I have been working in flex.bi for more than 4 years, so I know the product very well, in and out. Recently, I've been doing more and more trainings with customers. So if you're doing report training session with me, then you might know me from that. And if you message something on support, there's a high chance that actually I will be the one who will be answering the request here. So what are conditional messages in general? So conditional messages, like the name implies already, is a way to show messages in your reporting based on certain conditions that you specify. It can be used to highlight some information, make it easier to understand or find something, or maybe just share some common concepts with your colleagues. So on the plan for today is that I will show you some of the dashboards that we have on our templates and just give you an idea how conditional messages can be used. Then I will show you how to make conditional messages yourself, what's the logic behind it, how you can implement that in flex.bi. And after that, we'll look at deeper look at the same dashboards that I showed you previously and see how it's set up behind the scenes for those dashboards. Okay. So first, now I will move to our templates library dashboard about conditional messages. And so this is going to be the first example how this can be used. And here is an active leads dashboard. This is very nice for salespeople because when you work in sales, it's recommended to keep up with the customers and talk with them and contact them regularly. And these messages, this lead status, can help them with that. It's set up in a way that it shows the status of the customer, if it's warm, frozen, or cold, based on the most recent activity for customer, which means that if you have contacted the customer during the last 10, 14 days, then it's going to be warm. Yeah, you just talk with the customer, it's fine. If it's been more than 10 days, then the customer is going to be cold. Right? It's recommended to contact them. And if it's been more than a month since you last talked with the customer, it's going to be frozen. So you can open up the report and see already, okay, I need to talk with this customer. It's been a while, this guy, and you can just go through. It's much easier. And this sales hours also has a filter set up that shows red if the consulting hours or sales hours have reached a certain point, meaning that, okay, you've been spending too much selling for this customer, maybe close it or move on, with this kind of idea. And I will show you later how to adjust these values for your, the idea how to adjust these values for your reporting. Next, there is a customer sales report, which has customer actions. And there's an action that is based on the 2 or 3 criteria. One is, are the sales bigger than last year? Is the customer buying more than last year? Is the customer buying more than last month, for example? And that represents that demand is higher than average, which means more than last year. And if it's growing, then it's more than this year. And it shows. So if it's the sales going down, there's nothing. If the demand is higher, then it shows this message. If the demand is higher and growing, it shows this message. And for new customers, there's an additional message. Okay, this is new customer. I should take that into consideration. And since the version release last week we added also Markdown formatting as an option. I will show you later how you can apply that. And this shows the same concepts or principles, just then some kind of icons. You can change font, italic, bold, and so on. Everything that Markdown has available for you. This is an example where I set up with arrows and unicorns. Then you can also use conditional messages, for example, to show different offers for customers. So if customer has reached certain criteria, maybe you want to offer them a VIP status. Here it's set up based on the percentage from total turnover. If this is a big customer, it gives you a big turnover. Okay, we're going to make him VIP, for example. And this is also based on the fact if they're buying more than previously, like if the like similar with the last ones, demand is growing. Okay. So these are some conditional messages in conditional message dashboard. And then there's also resource planning dashboard that uses some of the conditional messages. And this is another way how to use reporting. And the idea here is that you can set up rental resource planning where you could have some items that you have for rent. You have specified what's the total quantity that we have for them. And then you can see the booked quantity based on some certain criteria in your Hansa, like activities. And it shows you if the item is available or it's overbooked or booked based on how many are booked and what's your total quantity for that. Then and this also you can see a graph over time. Where you can see what's the quantity of items you have and what's the trend of how much booked is it over time. Then I really like this idea about this report where it shows if a person is in office or out of office based on his activities, which means that if there is an activity like travel or sales demo with customer, maybe before we had all the lockdowns and everything, or some kind of certain other activities that you have in your system, you can specify, okay, if this person has these kind of activities planned for today, then he must be away. And you can show he's away or he's in office. And you can make reporting based on that. And it also shows how many consulting hours this person has booked for today, and what are the total hours what he's booked, like how available is the person. Right? So this is another way you can use conditional messages in your reporting. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. I hope that you get the idea of how conditional messages can be used and how maybe some resource planning can be implemented. Do I have any questions right now? Because next I'll show you how you can make something like this yourself. You specify your own conditions. So we'll get into detail right now. Do I have any questions? Okay. Seems like good. So everything's good. Okay. So now I have a very simple. So let's move into detail and show you exactly how to set it up. So here is a very basic report where I have just turnover and invoice count selected here in 2021 by customers. Right? Very simple report. And let's for example set up a customer segmentation report here. Right? So there's going to be large, medium, and small customers, and let's put them in different segments. So let's start with large customers. So what I'm going to do here is I'll open up the measures dimension by clicking on it here. And this will open me these two sections that I can expand and collapse as well. And these are the predefined members that are by default. We have specified for you these ones. You can use them in your calculations, but this time we're gonna make our own calculation, and so we need to go to the user defined section. Since I'm in the report templates library, there's just a lot of calculations here. But if I scroll to the very bottom, there's a place where I can define a new calculated measure. Okay, and I will use this. And what I will put here is a case when statement. Let me show you how that works. Okay, so these are the links that I'm using right now. So the case when statements. So this is going to be a little technical, but bear with me, it's not that hard. I'll explain how it works and show you. First of all, this is the conditional messages. This place how we can specify conditional messages. The idea here is that we specify when something is true, like when something happens, like when this condition is true, like condition, then we're gonna show this message, or then this is going to happen, right? So conditional messages, condition, and message. And every conditional message just needs to start with a case and needs to end with an end. So let's see how it works. So customer segments. So everything needs to start with a case and end with an end. So this is just a very basic. You can start there, and then we need to put when and then. When something is true, then we're gonna do this. So let's try it out with the item base amount, which is turnover. And in order to put it into the calculation, I can find it in my right side here, the good syntax, how you write it. You can also use auto-completion. This is just a simpler way and more consistent, harder to make mistakes, basically. And in the right side, I will find my item base amount. And I sometimes use search, command search or control search as well. It's a little bit easier, but you can just click on the measure. It will pop up in the window with the correct syntax. And you can say, if this is bigger than 3000, then it's going to be large. And this has to be in these quotation marks because it's going to be text. Every text has to be in quotation marks, just something you need to remember. But this part is just basic kind of math. Right? And you can use different kind of calculations. Maybe you can find some ready calculations that you are using in your reports and put them here as well. Right? It can be something more complicated. So let's see how it works. So everything above 3000, then we're going to have a message large. Wait a couple of seconds, all good. And now that I created this, the calculated measure shows up at the very bottom, like it's the very last one, right? So you can be sure to find it. So if I enable this, then now I can see that all the customers that have the item base amount bigger than 3000, they are considered large. And let's format this right away. So we get the drill down. What if I want to make different colors like I had in this report, like warm, cold, and frozen? Let me show you how to do that. You have to then click on the column and choose cell formatting. This will open a window where I can put in the text color, background color, and if I want to put it a bold. Here I have to type in what's in the report 2 times. So if it's large, then the background is going to be, let's say pick yellow. Background is going to be yellow for the report. And now everything that is about 3000 is message is large and the background is orange. Okay. Let's take it one step further and let's specify what's a small customer then. Okay. We can just do the same thing. This is just a bare bone case when statement. I need case, I need end, and then I need at least one condition and message. Okay. Let's go back. If you go to back, so we did the in the red, marked in red, very basic report, and we can add as many when then statements as we want, and we can also add one end at the end. I'll show you how it works as well. Let's do another one. When then. Right, I'll just copy, or I can put the same item based on from here. I click it, it shows up. Let's say smaller than 1000. Then small. Okay, same story. Update. Now this calculated member automatically updated, and we can see everything that's below 1000 is now a small. Right? Let's change the formatting right away. Again, click on column, cell formatting, and this time we need to add the new row because we have one existing one, and I can do that by clicking on here. Small. Let's say let's put a text in a different. Let's put a text in a different color now, just to show you some variation. And now, if the customer is small, it's going to show up as small, and it's going to be this color. Okay. And now we need to also do the medium customers, right? For that, we can use another case when statement. Let's see how would that work. And this time, yes, okay, we're going to have a medium customer, but this time it's kind of tricky because the item based on needs to be bigger than 1000 and smaller than 3000. So we need kind of a combination of two. Okay, so how do we do that? I'll give you a second to guess. What I will do is I'll put bigger and equals, something to remember, because if it's just bigger, then if someone has precisely 1000, it's not going to show up. Okay, so we need bigger and equals 1000, and I'm just going to put and, right? This is an and operator, so it's going to consider both options. Like if this is true and this is true, yeah, then we're going to do it. You can use also or, right? That's as well, and that will make it. If at least one of them is correct or true, then it's going to show up. In this case, we need to use and I'll just copy this, and this time needs to be smaller, equal than 3000. Okay. Let me expand that and see how it works. So when the customer item based amount is bigger than 3000, it's going to be large, smaller than 1000, small, and then bigger than 1000 and smaller than 3000 is going to be medium. Okay, let's update that. And here we go. So everything else is medium. Change the formatting again to get the drill down. Medium. Let's just put a gray background. I mistyped something, so let me see. I'll copy paste. I just copy pasted the text so that making sure that I wrote it correctly, and now it works. And this is more or less how you can use conditional messages or case-when statements in your reporting. You might have some kind of more advanced calculations, then you can contact us at support@flex.bi, and we'll try to help you with that as well. But in general, most of the calculations you can work. And you can also put some kind of, not messages, but you can also put numbers here. For example, gross profit. If this is bigger, then you show gross profit or some kind of your specific calculation. So that works as well. One last thing I want to show you regarding this is you can also, when you have these messages, you can also filter them. And you can do that by clicking on the column, saying filter rows, and you can just use equals, right? Put small, and it's gonna filter all the small customers, right? So if customer segmentation equals small, is going to show up in the reports. If you want to remove that filter, they are always show up at the top of the report. You can click and remove or update based on like you wanted to have. So do I have any questions about this? I hope this makes sense. I hope this is clear how it works, and I hope you have some ideas how you can maybe use that in your reporting. This is very nice. It's very nice in a sense that maybe not everyone knows in a company, or you don't know on top of your head what's the specific number for specific range of customers. Like, oh, was it 3,000? Was it 2,000? Right? You have always the information available. You can open up. Okay, you can see, and all of your colleagues also can see your conclusions that you have set up in the reports based on these conditions. Okay, so I'm checking chat right now. If I have any questions about this, I'll wait a moment and then I will move on and show you how these casement statements are used in the existing reports and dashboards that I showed you previously. Okay. Right. So I'll keep an eye on chat. If you have something, I'll try to answer that later as well. Going back to what we had before here, this report. What I'll do now, I'll open this report up in a new window. Let's take a look how it's set up here. Because now you can, the good part is that you can now take this report from the templates library, upload it in your account, and edit that to your, maybe you have a different idea of how many days a lead is called or won. So here I'm in the report. I'll click again on measures, and now I need to find where is the lead status. Let me see, lead state is this one. I can edit and I can see this is how it's set up. Very similar to what we had before, like days since last activity. If it's more than 10 but smaller than 30, right, then the lead is going to be called. If it's been more than 30 days since the last activity, then the lead is going to be frozen. If it's smaller than 10, then the lead is going to be warm. Right? So you know how to come in and tweak all of these numbers. And similar to here, sales hours are formatted where if minimum of 600 hours have been spent on the customer, then the background is going to be red. You can now know how to come and edit that as well. Next, we had the customer sales. And here I will show you also how Markdown works. We'll probably have a separate webinar for the new version. Let's see how that goes. But just to give you an idea, so let's start with the customer action. Again, I'll open up the measures. I need to find where this. You can also do this, by the way, customer action. Right? I can type this, and this will search through your calculations. Check this. Okay. And here I see what's going on. So if in case new customer equals 1, so if this is a new customer, it's going to show up message new customer. If the increase compared to previous year's average is bigger than 0 and increased item quantity compared to last month is bigger than 0, then this demand is higher than average and growing. And if this is smaller than 0 in the last case, then demand is just average, right? And you can tweak these numbers and change the calculations to suit your needs in the reports. Okay. And about the Markdown, how the Markdown works is that here I have specified both of those. Let me see, demand. I look up demand, and this is how it works. The same case when statements, right? So case when this increase compared to, I can do this, it's the same. Increase compared to previous year's average is bigger than 0, then it's going to show this. And this is, sorry, Markdown specific, like a language, or you can Google Markdown, or let me show you you can, to learn more about this, you can go to our documentation, search for Markdown, and this page will pop up. We calculate the measures and members. And at the very bottom, there's a section about Markdown. You can use HTML formatting here. Font Awesome is available. That's where I got the images. And you can read more about this topic here. But that's just a whole new topic. But just in general, you can say if this is condition is that, then we will show this image and it's going to be green or red. Right here, I'm showing arrows up, arrow down, red or green. And the same goes for this one. I show in blue color, in orange color, and I show unicorn. Right? You can pick all of that and read that in the documentation. So that is the customer sales report. What else do we had? It's customer sales. This one, let's check what's in the VIP status. Very similar story. Open up. I'm looking for customer actions. It's this one. Again, case when the profit from total is bigger than 2%. If you convert that in percentage, that's going to be 2. If the increase is bigger than 1, so 10% more, they have bought 10% more, then it's VIP status. Otherwise, it's contact customer message. Next, and probably the last one we'll take a look at. So this is also based on this remaining quantity is bigger than 0, then this, otherwise other one. And last one, let's take a look at this resource planning one, how this office and out of away is set up. For this report, as you can see, the measure dimension is dropped into rows instead of columns. That is perfectly fine. Just need to find the location, and I can see here that when activity out of office, right? So this can be your activity, like the activity classification. It can be activity. Let's see, what kind of activity? Let me check. Activities had activity class. It can be activity type. Maybe you have your custom activity group that you can specify. Different cases can be used, and if there are any activities that have any duration that is bigger than 0, like this is a tuple combination, then the message is going to be away. If the person has any other activities except out of office, then the person is going to be into the office. Okay, all of these reports or those two dashboards can be found if you click on the templates button, and the conditional messages dashboard is shown here, right? And the resource planning, it's available here as well, so you can find that. And I will also save this report, overwrite, and you can find this one as well in our templates library if you want to check it out. So you have to, again, go to templates library this time. This time you have to go to analyze section, find the invoices data cube, because that's where I made it. And here you can look up and webinar conditional messages and resource planning. And here you'll be able to find the report that I set up, and maybe you can copy paste that formula that I used here. That is it for me. I'll be glad to answer or help you with any questions right now, if you have any. Other than that, thank you for joining, everyone. I hope this was useful, and maybe you got some new ideas or learned something new today. And see you some other time in another webinar. Bye-bye.